Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Media Unlock Tech. This is Hassan and today I will be showing you guys how to replace the LCD screen on an iPhone 6. This should be a pretty easy repair. You're gonna need some tools. First off, pentalobe screwdriver for the bottom screws. You need a Phillips head, flat head, another flat tool to pry the screen, and pair of tweezers. And a little bit of patience, you're going to be dealing with a lot of tiny screws. So let's make sure our device is powered off. And we're going to start with the bottom screws. You're going to need your pentalobe tool for that. Let's get these out. Here's the first one and the second one. Now the screws are off. We're going to remove the LCD and we're going to separate the LCD from the frame, and for that you're going to need your flat tool. Best spot to do that is right where the headphone jack is. You're going to get in between the LCD and the frame, and when you hear click you just pry it gently. Now you can lift up your screen. 90-degree angle will be the best. You don't want to pull all the way back and damage the connectors over here. First off, we're gonna unplug our battery connector, and there's two screws holding that down right here. Let's get those out. And these screws are gonna be different size, guys, so pay attention where you're taking it from. If it's necessary, put the plate right next to screw holes so you know exactly where they go. That is an important spot. So if you notice, the one right next to battery is a longer, the one closer to the edge of the frame is a shorter screw, and the plate just pops right off. Let's get that out. I'm gonna put the plate right next to him so I know where the screws go on the holes. And this is the connector for the battery. You can use your plastic tool or fingernails. Let's pop it out. Now the battery is disconnected. Next step, we're going to separate our LCD screen from the phone. And there's a plate holding the LCD connectors down, and there's 5 screws that hold on the plate down. So let's start with the bottom ones. And again, these are also very different size screws. Just pay attention where you're taking it off from and place it right next to the metal plate once it's all out. That way you're not putting them on the wrong spots. Now all the screws are out. If you notice, I put it in a certain shape. That's to match the holes on the plate. So these go on the bottom, that's for the middle, and these 2 screws are on top. You definitely don't want to mix these up. If you pay attention, you see how the different sizes are screws. And underneath the plate, there will be 4 connectors. There's the fingerprint scanner cable. Let's pop that out. This is the front camera and the speaker. And the LCD was right behind that. It actually popped out by itself, and the digitizer at the end. Now our LCD is separated from the frame. You can put that aside. Before we take all these parts from the old screen to install on the new one, I'll recommend you guys go ahead test your new screen. And these are the screens we actually sell on our Amazon account, and it's the iScreen Direct. We are affiliated with them, and they are good quality, and we try to sell the highest grade screens. But just to be safe, before you do all that work, just test it out. And the way you do that, you're gonna take your screen, you're gonna be connecting just these 2 connectors to the logic board. One of them is for the LCD, the other one is for the digitizer. So let's start with the top one. It goes right here. And be gentle with these connectors. You don't want to just press them down. If it doesn't want to go down, don't push it down. Just line it up with the connectors, then slightly push it. It should go in pretty easily. Now we connected two of our connectors on the logic board. We can now connect our battery cable back and try the power on the phone to test the screen. Now the LCD is back on there, and let's see if the device is powered on. And what we're gonna do is you wanna check the LCD, see if there's any marks underneath to see the color should be just like the original, and you're gonna test the touch. Just slide the screen, just play around, see if everything is working like it should. And now we are good to go. We're gonna power it back down. Now we can remove our LCD back from the phone, and we're gonna be installing the front camera, speaker, backplate, and the home button assembly. And before we remove the connectors, let's go ahead and unplug the battery cable. That is disconnected. Now we have two connectors attached to the logic board, one for the LCD, one for the digitizer. Let's get those out. Now it's totally separated. I'm gonna put the screen aside, and we'll be going back to our original screen that we removed from the phone. So here's the speaker assembly along with the front camera and proximity sensor. You got your back plate that holds the home button flex cable and the actual home button assembly. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the home button assembly on the bottom. And there's two screws holding down the plate. Let's start with those. Those are same size, and the plate should just come right off. Now the actual home button is going to be plugged in right here. There's a connector underneath, and it opens up towards this side of the LCD. So you can just get underneath with your flat tool, just pop it out. And the cable right underneath here, there's a tiny bit adhesive. So you can just push the home button from the front of the LCD, just get it out. You don't want to pull it and damage the cable. So what I do, I go underneath the cable, and then just gently pry it. It's a very tiny bit adhesive, it should come right off. And there it is, the actual home button. Now the speaker assembly. There will be 3 screws holding the speaker assembly down. Here's the plate. And these screws are going to be different sizes, so pay attention while you're taking it off. That way you know exactly where they go, because that's a very important spot right there. Let's start with the right one. Here's the middle screw. The third one actually popped right out. So if you look them, the ones on the sides are pretty much same size, and the one in the middle is going to be slightly longer. And to remove the plate, just pry it, and there's nothing else holding it down, so it should come out pretty easy. And just place it right next to your screws. Underneath the plate, first off, your front camera, you can just fold it up. And underneath that, there's the earpiece speaker. Unlike the iPhone 5s or 5S or the 5C, the speaker assembly, if you pay attention, actually sits upside down. Versus on the iPhone 5s, the springs will be facing down. So pay attention to that while you're taking it off. And underneath all that, here's the proximity sensor. You can use your flathead tool and just go underneath the proximity sensor right from here. And this does have a little bit of adhesive as well. You can just gently pry it and it should come out. Just pull to the side. And over here, just like the iPhone 5s, there's gonna be 2 retainers. One for the proximity sensor, one for the front camera. Those are not You don't have to have them, but it's really good to have those. It keeps the camera and the proximity sensor in line and lined up with your LCD. Now to get the camera out, right underneath this gold piece there's going to be a tiny bit adhesive as well. You don't want to pull it, that will damage the front microphone. That's what that is for. And use your flat tool. You can get underneath the gold piece right from the back. Just pry it gently. So now front camera and the proximity sensor is also off. Now what else left is gonna be the back plate and the home button flex cable that attaches right from here. And for that you have 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and there's gonna be 1 right here on the bottom. All these screws on the sides are gonna be exactly the same size, so it doesn't matter what order you take it off. Let's go ahead and start with these. And before we can remove the plate, there will be 1 more screw on the bottom right here. Let's get that one out as well. This screw is going to be tiny bit different size than the other one, so put it in a different spot. Now to remove the back plate, you're going to want to pull it from top towards the bottom. And this part where the home button connects, it's going to be a little bit of adhesive underneath here. It feels like it's going to tear up when you pull in, but don't be afraid. Those are actually pretty strong cables. So the way you do is lift it up from here. You want to lift it up towards yourself, and right here, this cable, it feels like it's going to tear up, but what you do is just kind of gently pull. If it doesn't want to come out, you can use your flat tool and get underneath the cable and just kind of pry it, and they should be separated just like that. Now we remove everything from this LCD. Now we are ready to install all these parts back on the new one. We went ahead, test our screen, it's good to go, and like I said, we do sell these on Amazon, affiliated with iScreen Direct, and we do ensure good quality product. First off, I'm gonna start with the plate, same order. Get our plate, the longer cable goes on top, the short one goes on the bottom, and the plate goes over this cable. So this part is gonna sit right on here, just like that. And best way to get all these screws lined up, put the bottom one first. And that was a screw that says slightly larger than the other ones on the side. Line up this hole, and let's put the screw back on there. Now we have our bottom screw lined up. All the other ones should go in pretty easily. And we have 6 of these. They go on the sides, 3 on this side and 3 on the other one. Now we have 3 more to go over here. Now we have the back plate installed back on our LCD. And now we'll go ahead and install our home button. And the home button, the way it goes, remember the plug is on this side, so it's going to be facing this way. And if your screen is, the old screen was very shattered, what you want to do is make sure around the edges of the home button there's no pieces of glass or dirt. You just want to clean that up so home button can click freely. Just set it right here. It should go on pretty easily. And this cable will fold and connect with this connector. Just like that. Now to hold the home button down, we need our plate. And the plate goes on this way. And you need your flip tool to put back two screws that we removed from the plate. They are same size, so it shouldn't matter which side you put them on. And after you install your screws, you can just flip the LCD and double check to see if your home button is clicking freely. In this case, it is. Now let's move up top. We're going to install our front camera, proximity sensor, and the speaker. And for that, we're going to start with this piece. And this is how you want to hold it. What you want to do is, there will be a tiny hole right next to this gold piece that should line up with the plastic piece right here. If you have a new screen and there will be a tiny seal over here for the adhesive, you might want to remove that, because this is the microphone when you're recording video so you can hear him, otherwise it'll block the sound. So make sure there's no seal for the tape over here on the new screen. In my case, there's none. So I'm gonna hold the gold piece, line up this hole with the plastic piece just like that. It should look like this. And the cable just folds down. And fold to the side. Before we put our proximity sensor and the camera down, we need to place our plastic retainers. One for the proximity sensor, one for the camera. And the proximity sensor retainer is going to go down just like that. One side is going to be straight, the other side is going to be kind of curvy, and the curvy side goes towards the left side of the screen. Just kind of place it in there. And for the camera retainer, this is how it should go down. After you place those two, now you can push the cable down that holds the proximity sensor first. Just kind of lay it on top of the connectors, just like that. And while you're holding that cable, before you put the camera down, we're gonna place our speaker in between these two cables. Remember, on the iPhone 5s, these gold springs was facing down. On the iPhone 6, it's gonna be opposite. So we take our earpiece speaker, place it down right here, line up with the holes, and now we can lay the front camera down, and these gold spots is gonna line up with the springs. And until you place your metal plate back on there, those are going to be moving around a little bit, that's okay. Just hold your finger on top of it, grab your plate, remember it goes down like this. Just kind of set it on top of it. It does look a little intimidating over here because everything is kind of cluttered up all in one space, but once you start putting them in order, they kind of just fell in space. So it is actually pretty easy. And remember, the screws over here are different size, and this is a very important spot. You don't want to put the wrong screw on the wrong hole. So we start with the bottom one, and these were the shorter ones. Let's tighten that up. And the longer screw goes in the middle. And the last one goes on the left corner, which is also same size on the right one. And you can flip your LCD and double check to see if your front camera is lined up with your screen. If not, you can always go back here and adjust it with your tool, whichever way you need to push it, and just so the lens actually will be lining up with the screen. And that's what that plastic piece does. So now we have everything on here. Before you connect these cables are kind of set on top of each other, so what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to line them up with the lengths. So the first one on the bottom is gonna be your LCD connector. The next one is going to be your digitizer, so you can pull the front camera cable to the side and lay this one down and put the camera in between the home button and digitizer. So when you hold them together, they should line up like this. And this cable, it doesn't matter, it'll go one way or another. So that's how it should look like once we install all the parts back on the LCD. Now we can get our phone and start installing our LCD back on our phone. You want to start with the digitizer cable. And the LCD next. Connector for the front camera and the proximity sensor. And the last one is going to be your fingerprint scanner cable for the home button. Make sure all the connectors are tight and clipped on. Now we can put our plate back on here, which will keep all the connectors down. And the way it goes, it's going to be just like that. Just kind of lay it down. We can hold it down with one finger. So if you remember, all these screws were different sizes. So we're gonna make sure they go on the right spots. I'm gonna start with the bottom two, the smallest ones. And the next one is gonna be the middle screw. That's also pretty small size. The top right is going to be the longest one. And the last one is going to be top left, slightly smaller. That's how it should look like. The next step is to reconnect our battery and put the plate back on there. And we are almost there. Let's connect our battery cable, and the plate will go down just like that. And those two screws were also different sizes. The one closer to the battery is going to be the longer one. Now everything is in place. We can now close our LCD down. You want to start from the top. There's plastic clips over here on both sides, and what you want to do is put those under the LCD just like that. So you want to start like this and then work your way towards down. And if the LCD doesn't want to go down, don't push it. Just be gentle. By the way, the phone actually powered on. I accidentally pushed the power button. Let's make sure LCD is all the way on there. All the corners are tucked in. Let's go ahead and put our bottom screws. And we're going to use our pentalobe tool to tighten those down. Now let's check to see if our LCD is functioning. Everything seems like working good. You guys did it. And that was another easy repair with Media Unlock Tech. And like I said, we do sell these on Amazon. You can get it from our store with iScreen Direct. We ensure good quality product. And if you guys have any questions as far as the repairs or comments, we'll be more than happy to help you guys out as far as these. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm David with Media Unlock Tech, and as you have seen, we just finished doing an iPhone repair, and I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit, let you guys know that we have partnered up or an affiliate of iScreen Direct. And so we thought it would be cool to make these videos for you guys, but then have the actual screen that we use, the company's screen that we use. We kind of partnered up with them. And so there's a link, as you guys probably see right now. You can actually click this link right now, and you'll be able to go over to Amazon and purchase these screens so that when you're doing your repair, you're actually using the same screen, same brand screen that we use for these repairs. So hopefully that helps you guys out, of course. And as always, if you have any questions or any comments, you can leave them down below or send us a message here on YouTube. We appreciate it, and thanks for stopping in. How'd that sound? Sound good to you?